Show us your love and support by clicking on the subscribe button and bell icon so that you don't miss any of our future videos and updates. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending upon when you're listening to this podcast. This is Kunal Sog and you have tuned into Chai Time Poetry, the second season of our very own poetry podcast, brought to you by FC Poetry Club, URF, Frowning Clown's Poetry Club. This podcast is specially designed to accompany you when you are enjoying your favorite cup of tea or an aromatic cup of coffee. If you like this podcast, please follow us on Instagram at FC Poetry Club and on YouTube at Frowning Clown. Without wasting any more time and before your cup of tea or your cup of coffee gets cold, let's take our first sip of poetry. In today's episode of Chai Time Poetry, I have with me Samyuktha from Bangalore, Soma from Shillong and Aparna from Bangalore. I'm super happy to have them all with me today because I love their style of writing and the emotions behind their poems. But before we listen to their poems, let's take the first sip of poetry by exploring a poem written by Lord Byron. And here it goes. I had a dream which was not all a dream. The bright sun was extinguished and the stars did wander darkling in the eternal space. Rayless and pathless, and the icy earth swung blind and blackening in the moonless air. Morn came and went, and came and brought no day. And men forgot their passion in the dread of this their desolation, and all hearts were chilled into a selfish prayer for light. And they did live by watchfires, and the thrones, the palaces of crowned kings, the huts, the habitations of all things which dwell, were burnt for beacons, cities were all consumed. These lines are from the poem Darkness. These lines talk about a fantasy world where there is no sun, where there is no light. A world where everyone just wanders in darkness looking for a purpose. The darkness that can be a boon or it can be a curse. The darkness that can be the source of all the possible scares. And today I actually have a poet from Bangalore. Her name is Samyuktha, and she beautifully narrates her battle with darkness in the form of a poem. So without wasting any more time, let's hear this poem by Samyuktha.
Sleepless nights. Sleepless nights. Nights that don't let sleep enter, but gracefully welcome old thoughts and memories that I buried 6 feet deep under my skin. Or so I thought I did. She brings along with her stomach-churning shames of my past, the sadistic moon washing their feet, which gleams with bright smiles at this rapid heartbeat, with too much satisfaction. Pop culture horror taught me to lock my cupboard lest skeletons should creep out, turning the knob from within while I lay sweating under my blanket in 40-degree heat. But these demons now, their faces are hidden, not from behind cupboards anymore, but they laugh and they snicker slowly, not started from the grooves of my brain, they slither onto sheets of linen, where I writhe, feeling so weak. These sleepless nights throw a bulb over my laptop, lying half asleep among the mess on the other side of my king-size bed where I lay in alone, wild imagination in a satin dress used to tuck in uninvited fragments of my sinful memory, making these nights not only sleepless, but leaving me dreamless and hopeless and not fearless, but breathless. The letters on my laptop are my morning cups of coffee and evening's chai, vexatious loose ends of my mind drown in broken grammar and unstructured sentences. It is more poetic though, isn't it? These sleepless nights turn into sleepless days. My garden is clipped off of her thorns. Its beauty it darkens. Tulips and sunflowers, they grow always. It is every season. These new sleepless nights cradle me now. They wrap me in blankets. They feed me its own daughter. From skeletons in her cupboard and poison in her head to flowers and sunshine rolling in her bed, she grows. She grows under the same blanket, next to the same cupboard, under the same lightless ceiling. She grows. Her leaves etch words in her notebook, so anchored she grows. She grows upward and outward and snatches the smoke from the moon, reclaiming it now. It rests on her face. She smiles because now she is blessed.
Throughout the poem, I was recollecting all those nights when random and strange thoughts kept me awake. I just love this poem, and especially the way you recite it, Samyuktha. I love your style of recitation, the change in tempo every now and then. It's just fantastic. By the way, what inspired you to write this poem?
This piece is called Sleepless Nights. It was one of the very first few spoken word pieces that I have ever written and, in a way, performed. The sheer inspiration that comes behind it is, as a kid, I have always been extremely terrified of the dark, specifically the night, and I would watch horror movies and it just impacted me as a kid. But now when I'm 17 now, and as a teenager for the past 3 to 4 years, my most creative, most authentic self is always shown in the night, beyond 11 p.m., beyond 12 a.m., and that's now become my haven. So that's primarily what I wanted to portray through the poem. That was my inspiration. The journey of being afraid of the dark, the journey of your demons transforming into your friends. Where they used to tear you down, but now you tear them down yourself and you watch yourself grow in their home. So to me, that was very close and a very inspiring experience, because now I'm practically an insomniac at times. But it's my haven in a sense, and that's where this poem came from a real true sense of safety, from high threat to safety.
Whoa, that's something crazy. To befriend your demon and tear them down. That's a crazily empowering thought. You know, I hope we all in our lives can take charge and control of our demons and our enemies. This whole idea, Samyukta, of rising over our worries, over our pains, over our concerns, it's just fantastic. But you know what? It actually reminds me of a poem written by Soma. A poem in which she talks about the beauty, the necessity, and the importance of pain. So let's hear this fantastic poem by Soma.
Reset. In the icy mountain tent, in the charcoal black room, in the back seat of your car, in the beautiful sleaze of our minds, we met every night. Yet we never met, and that is beautiful too. You left in a hurry and forgot a pack of cigarettes, late nights, half kisses, full moons, and us. And now This nothingness feels so complete, as every kind of love is not meant to heal. Sometimes it is just a way to remind that pain too is a delight, that going away is always part of the deal. Not in this manner, they may say, this free fall without a safety net, but almost anything works when you know hurt is the only way to heal. Hurt is the only way to heal.
Isn't this poem just beautiful? I mean, the use of metaphors like falling without a safety net makes this poem even more fantastic. Soma, thank you so much for writing something so real and something so true to almost everyone's life. Well, indeed, as you said, hurt is the only way to heal. And this is just a beautiful way to look at it, to be honest. But I'm super curious to know what inspired you to write this amazing poem.
I'm from Shillong, Meghalaya, in the northeast. That place is a walking, talking poetry. So I did not have to go too far looking for inspiration. It was right there. Most of my poetic indulgences have taken shape in the sounds of the gushing waterfalls of Meghalaya and the mystery of fickle headlights of vehicles as they negotiate tricky turns in these famous blue mountains in the dead of the night. I've also come to believe that German words define poets and wanderers like us, like no other language can. Kopfkino, this word is for those situations where you play out how you imagine a scenario would go in your head. Literally head cinema. I do it all the time. I create dramatic narratives around places I have never been to, people I have never met, longing for something that I cannot put a finger on. This sometimes takes the shape of a poem, or it can just linger on, unsaid, unwritten.
Well, my takeaway from this is head cinema. I did not know that there is a word coined for a habit that I have since years. It's so beautiful, to see that a place or environment or surrounding can inspire you to write such a beautiful poem. I hope you continue to write such amazing pieces. But talking about pain and hurt actually reminds me of a poem written by Aparna. A poem where she depicts a journey full of pain and sacrifices. A journey of a girl from her birth till the time she becomes a mother. Without wasting any more time, let me present you the poem by Aparna.
वो क्या है ना, मैं बेटी हूँ, ज़रा जल्दी खुश हो जाती हूँ। मुझे तहज़ीब और तमीज़ सीखने की ज़रूरत है और तुम्हें मुझे सिखाने की। मुझे बचने की ज़रूरत है और तुम्हें मुझे बचाने की। वो क्या है ना, बेटी हूँ मैं, ज़रा जल्दी खुश हो जाती हूँ। पहली बार तो तब खुश हुई थी जब पैदा ही हुई थी। बदजात के दिमाग ने सोचा, डॉक्टर ने ये क्यों नहीं कहा मुबारक हो बेटी हुई है। पर तब तुमने मुझे संभाला, ख़ानदान के चिराग को दहेज की जोड़ी हुई रकम बना डाला, मेरी अहमियत को मेरी ज़िल्लत बना डाला। पर तब तुमने ही तो मुझे संभाला। वो क्या है ना, बेटी हूँ मैं, ज़रा जल्दी खुश हो जाती हूँ। फिर मैंने जवानी में कदम रखा, तुमने मुझे मेरी पहली राह दिखाई। हाथ छुड़ाकर भागना चाहा तो ताने पड़े, और इसी दौरान मैंने मेरी पहली लड़ाई लड़ी। मुझे बढ़ने की ज़रूरत थी और तुम्हें मुझे बढ़ाने की। मुझे खुश रहने की ज़रूरत थी, ये भी तो तुम्ही ने सिखाया। कदम रखा मैंने एक नए संसार में, जिसे तुमने मेरा घर बताया। हाँ, आ गई मैं भी ससुराल, जिसे तुमने मेरा दर बताया। वो क्या है ना, मैं बेटी हूँ, ज़रा जल्दी खुश हो जाती हूँ। सोचा नए घर की मैं लाडली बन जाऊँगी, क्या पता था कि मैं बैरागनी बन जाऊँगी। तुमने मुझे फिर सिखाया और जब मैंने बचना चाहा तो मार पड़ी। शरीर को तो कुछ न हुआ, पर तुमने मन को एक नई राह दिखाई। वो क्या है ना, बेटी हूँ मैं, ज़रा जल्दी खुश हो जाती हूँ। आदत से मजबूर मैं फिर खुश होने चली आई। मैंने फिर कदम रखा एक नए संसार में, जब मैं एक और मैं ले आई। पर फिर एक दहेज की रकम की चिंता इस समाज को दे आई। वो क्या है ना, बेटी है तू, ज़रा जल्दी खुश हो जाएगी। वापस पुरानी बात दोहराई, सगे और परायों की बात समझाई। मुझे तूने वापस बहू होने का हक बताया। मुझे तूने वापस फिर उसी बात पर ताने भी दिए। तू अपने घर से अपने सिवा क्या ही लेकर आई। ना तो तू अब वहाँ की रही, ना हुई हमारी। तू बेटी ही थी, बहू ही कहाँ बन पाई। वो क्या है ना, सगे में थी फिर भी पराई बन पाई। वो क्या है ना, बेटी हूँ मैं, ज़रा जल्दी खुश हो जाती हूँ। कदम तो रखा नया, हर बात पे तू टोकी भी जाई। वो क्या है ना, बेटी है तू, ज़रा ये बात भी तो समझाई। वो क्या है ना, बेटी है तू।
It's a very well written poem, and it's definitely one of those poems which are very difficult to hear. The fact that a girl constantly looks for happiness and joy, but she's always disappointed is very heartbreaking. Aparna, what really inspired you to write this poem?
The modern day concept of calling feminism as fakeism has actually inspired me to pen down this poem, and a poem that I recently heard, Tu Kiski Aurat Hai, has actually moved me a lot and forced me to think in this context also, because everyone in this society is not treated equally, or every female is not considered the same.
Well, it's very unfortunate that we live in a world where not everyone is treated equally. But I live in hope, and so should you, Aparna. And especially when you write such beautiful poems, these poems give wings to the conversations about equality, about feminism. And trust me, these conversations are extremely important. I'm sure one day we all will live in a world of equality. We all just need to keep working towards it. Well, that's all in today's episode of Chai Time Poetry. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed creating this podcast for you. Let us know if you like us as your Chai Time companion. Hope to see you again next time with some more amazing poetries and with another comforting cup of tea or coffee. But till then, I urge you to please follow us on Instagram at FC Poetry Club and subscribe to our YouTube channel Frowning Clown because it's free of cost. Please do comment and let us know how you like this podcast, and do not forget to like and share it. And until I meet you next time, please keep smiling and let the clown do the frowning. Bye-bye.